So let's take a look at the iPhone 12 Pro Max and see how it holds up against the iPhone 12 Pro in 2023. Now, both these phones are very interesting. I did personally use this exact iPhone 12 Pro for a period of time, and I've always felt like the 12 Pro Max was a great phone. It's a very, very big phone though, so keep that in mind. But if you want to pick up some phones, I would recommend buying this year. Links will be down in the description. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell that both these phones are very, very different, but they're very similar in a lot of ways too. The iPhone 12 Pro, which came out in 2020, both these phones came out in 2020, has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and this is a pretty good screen. I've always felt like this was a very, very good panel. However, the one thing to keep in mind, this was a bigger version of the iPhone 11 Pro. So even though this was a direct lineup, successor in that specific phone, this one did have a bigger panel, which I liked. Really good display, 60 Hertz, but it still looks pretty sharp. You have the notch up top, nothing else crazy going on with this phone, but these two phones brought the flat backs back, which was really cool. So, not the flat backs, the flat sides. So because of that, it gave the impression there was a little bit less bezel on it than there actually was. So that was something that was really cool with that specific phone. With the iPhone 12 Pro Max, this specific device pretty much has a 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. It's a bigger display, and it definitely looks really good. I still feel like this display is very, very sharp. There's not really a lot to complain about here. And of course, this phone's not perfect. It's not 120 Hertz like we do have on the 13 Pro Max, but it's still a very good looking display. And I think a phone like this still holds up very, very well. It really comes down to size. Do you like a bigger size or a smaller size? That's kind of what you're going to be pretty much seeing here, to be honest. So in terms of the outside, that kind of covers it up there. In terms of the rest of the bodies, you can see, funny enough, the thinness and thickness was always about the same between both of these phones. I've always felt like if you're getting a thinner phone or a bigger phone, you're going to be getting obviously a thicker phone if it's a bigger phone, but that's not quite the case. They're almost the exact same thickness, which is pretty insane. On the bottom, they have the lightning ports, which is awesome. And on the back, we have our glass backs. Now, they're both the same color here, but my glass back on the 11 Pro Max completely cracked. I probably should have done a better job at keeping it, a little bit of a better situation, but regardless, these two phones are very, very similar. And like I said, if you're getting one over the other, you're going to see that they're almost the exact same type of build. I mean, it's just literally like a bigger phone. And that's exactly what happens when you're getting the Pro or Pro Max version of these phones. It's just a bigger phone. That's kind of it. But you are getting a bigger size battery on these types of phones too, sometimes better camera features as well. But in terms of the outside, that kind of covers it up there, if I'm being honest. Now, another thing is with software longevity. So both these phones are going to be lasting exactly the same amount of time. So this has always been something that some people get confused at, but whether you're getting an iPhone 11 Pro Max or an iPhone 11 Pro, or in this case the iPhone 12 Pro Max or the iPhone 12 Pro, you're seeing that you're spending more money on the bigger phone, right? You're going to spend more money on a device like this because it's bigger, it's more expensive, that's just kind of the way it goes. However, the big thing to keep in mind here is that with the iPhone 12 Pro, this is a cheaper phone technically on release than the iPhone 12 Pro Max, but it's still going to be lasting the same amount of time because they have the same chipset inside. So chipsets can differ. Usually it's a mixture of chipset and RAM, but these two phones have the same chipsets and the same amount of RAM inside of them too. So you're really going to be getting the exact same type of experience on the iPhone 12 Pro as you are going to be getting on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So take it as you will, but I definitely do think between these two devices, you're not missing out on too much. Of course, you're getting a bigger phone here, but with the iPhone 12 Pro, you are going to be getting pretty much a good solid phone for sure. And the iPhone 12 Pro Max is a bigger phone when it comes down to it. So let's go and do a speed comparison between both these devices now. The iPhone 12 Pro has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigs of RAM, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max is the exact same thing. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, so let us get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing. Music 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 12 Pro Max is on the right, and it was kind of faster. Not too sure what's going on with the iPhone 12 Pro here. Let's go into the App Stores, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 12 Pro Max is faster. The iPhone 12 Pro a little bit slower right there. Kind of going through. Let's go and see what's going on here. And I don't know why the iPhone 12 Pro is so slow. It's very, very strange. I thought they were supposed to be on the same version of software, so that's very strange. Camera, 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. Let's go and take a photo, 3, 2, 1. Let's go and open up the photo, 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing. Hopping out of here. Photos, 3, 2, 1. Okay, not that big of a difference here either. Let's go and try podcast, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 12 Pro is faster. Stocks, which I do not have here. Let's go ahead and see if we have any other similar apps. Mail 321, about the same thing. So not too many differences here. Clock 321. So lots of similarity for sure, but a few differences here and there. Files 321. Okay, about the same thing. Let's go ahead and try contacts 321. About the same thing too. Let's go and try Temple Run 2, 321. Of course, we get into this pop-up. I'm so sorry about that. I don't think it affected, and I guess it did, so that's kind of an unfortunate thing. I don't know why we had so many pop-ups on this device. Very, very inappropriate. Let's go and hop out of here. Let's go and try another one. Let's go and try, I don't know why I have all these random apps on here, to be honest. We try Subway Surfers, which of course I don't have. So we can go back to some of these other apps. We can try something like Voice Memos 321. Okay, about the same thing, two different panels. Compass, let's do Calculator 321. Okay, about the same thing too. Let's click 0 or 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, pretty much the same thing. So overall, what I'll definitely tell you is I am surprised about the differences in the performance here because they have the exact same internals. So I think the battery, or I think the software version is the thing that's causing this much of like impact on the speed. Usually it wouldn't be this big of a difference. It would be roughly around the same thing. So for these to be as different as they are is pretty concerning. I'll keep a look at it. I'll see what's kind of going on between them. But I think when it kind of comes down to it, you're going to be getting very similar type of experience between both. But as of right now, it's not really looking like that, to be honest. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of the camera setup between both, like I've always mentioned before, these two cameras are going to be almost identically the same. They have pretty much the exact same things going on the outside, which is perfectly fine. When you're getting a phone like this, you want it to be at a pretty good level for the most part, if you know what I mean. And these two phones are going to be very, very solid from that perspective. So I do appreciate this phone being, for both these phones for having triple camera setups and all of that. And with a phone like the iPhone 12 Pro, this is just a smaller phone of the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So again, you kind of have to remember that and keep that in mind. So with something like the iPhone 12 Pro, very, very good phone. I haven't had too much to complain about here. I've always felt like Apple did a tremendous job with their iPhone lineup, and this is pretty much no exception. So with this camera, you can zoom in and you can zoom out a lot. You have video mode, portrait mode, panorama mode as well. But you also have to keep in mind, I don't know why I'm not able to zoom out of this thing, but you also have to keep in mind that with a phone, okay, I don't know what's going on. But you also have to keep in mind with the phone like the iPhone 12 Pro Max, pretty much the exact same thing. So you're getting that same type of 12x zoom, 0.5x zoom, portrait mode, video mode, all this other stuff. You're pretty much on the same thing as the iPhone 12 Pro. So you're not really missing out on too much. You're in the same boat. So it's kind of one of those things to keep in mind as well. So to kind of sum up this video, what I'll tell you is, as you might have guessed it, these two phones are very, very similar. You aren't really going to be in a situation where your phone is in a completely different realm. Like the iPhone 12 Pro Max is so much better because it's $100 more retail. Not quite the case. You're going to be getting very similar type of experience between these two devices, which is beautiful. I love seeing that. With the iPhone 12 Pro, this is just a smaller phone of the 12 Pro Max, which is nice. So that's an awesome thing too. But it's up to you. But I would probably say if for a majority of people watching this, getting the iPhone 12 Pro might make the most amount of sense. It's a cheaper phone. It's a little bit easier to buy. And it's a good size, I would say better size for a lot of people than the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how I see both these devices. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.